during Mr. Iwata's keynote, he put up a series of slides that showed how we grew the audience. And there's one slide in particular that showed back in November of 2007, roughly 42% of the US population was playing games. And then now jumped to last October, that was up to 62%. So we have been very effective in growing that gaming population. He showed a second chart that the driver of that performance was in fact Nintendo Wii and DS. So where do we go from here? What we know about the audience is what they want are new experiences to get them into gaming if they haven't already jumped in. Certainly Nintendo 3DS fits that bill. So I would say, yes, we're going to continue to focus on broadening the gaming audience. We're going to do it with new experiences like Nintendo 3DS. We're going to do it with targeted opportunities like going after the Hispanic consumer. We compete in the world of entertainment. And so we compete with your website. We compete with magazines. We compete with movies on the big screen, on the small screen. We compete for people's time. And in the end, the only way we can win that competition is with content. If you start focusing in on individual competitors, then you really start talking about what is my specific advantage versus X. And fundamentally, it will always be my content. It'll be the great Nintendo franchises. It'll be the fantastic content that third party brings to bear. And it'll be the other partnerships and relationships that we can leverage with our device. And that's going to be true for anybody, fill in the blank. From the marketing standpoint, we always start with what's the consumer insight? Who is this consumer? What do they want? What are the opportunities and the factors that we can leverage to meet their needs? That's where it all starts. And you're right, if we're trying to speak to a Hispanic consumer, that could be very different than speaking to an Anglo consumer. It's our job with our franchise characters to constantly refresh them and constantly bring them to consumers in new and compelling ways. And I would actually use the example Donkey Kong Country Returns. Donkey Kong wasn't in a classic side-scrolling game since the days of SNES. We're starting from scratch. I mean, it was great to have a consumer like you who maybe knew Donkey Kong from back then, but for everybody else, we're starting from scratch. So we had to introduce the character, we had to make the character fun, and we had to make the character resonate. We look back and we've sold, over 1.5 million units just here in the US. The game has fantastic legs. We think it's going to become another Nintendo evergreen. That's only because we were able to make the character resonate with today's consumers. So we always have to do that. We have to do that with the next Mario game. We'll have to do that with the next Zelda game. We'll have to do it with Kid Icarus. So that's our job from a Nintendo of America sales and marketing standpoint is how do we drive resonant behavior, resonant love for some of our old franchises.